Hey gang, this week we're going to talk about awareness. Kevin, I know I'm going to get him to speak about this in a minute, but he's been sitting back from his life recently and just been sort of pondering this idea of all the things he's aware of. I have found in my life that you go through various stages where you see the complexity of things. Like we were talking about a really banal example, like superannuation. You know, like once you dig into it, there's 50 million like different ways that you could cut your investments and how it works and why you need to do it and where it comes from. And the complexity of the world means that there is infinite little rabbit holes that you could go down of the things that you want to know more about and be aware of. But what we tend to do is we limit that because, you know, like I don't want to know, for example, how software works. I'm happy that we can just record onto this computer. I don't need to know how the ones and zeros get us to that point because I'm just not interested. So we put these natural sort of limits to our awareness just so that we can operate in the world the way we need to. What's your connection with the external awareness?
Yeah, so for me, I was on a session last night and we were talking about something else, but awareness came up for me just in my head. And I've been kicking around for a couple of weeks in that I'm not concerned. I'm been really thoughtful around how much awareness you can actually take on. You know, so in what we were talking about is from an internal way of being, becoming more aware of the things that you want to change in your life internally, but there are external factors to that. And the thoughts that kept coming up for me was that, you know, I've only got a limited amount of space in my brain, I guess. Probably, and maybe some people would say less than others. I don't know.
It's decreasing every day.
I thought I'd get in early. I thought I'd get in first. But and particularly in light of the trauma that I've gone through, you know, I haven't got back to full energy levels that I'd like. So, and to be honest, even before that, there were things that I would just not be interested in. That I would like, well, I'm not going to spend any time on that. And this is what's come up for me in this last week or two around, there's more things that I should be more aware of. But how do I make the priority? How do I make the decision onto what I'm going to focus on? Because it's essentially like opening a Pandora's box.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of describing what we're sort of talking about, which is that on the external side of awareness, which is your awareness of how the world works and everything that's within it, there is an unlimited amount of information that you could potentially absorb.
Yeah.
Even ChatGPT doesn't know it all, right? Like, so in that sense, that imagine that capacity is unlimited because there's information being generated all the time. And so if you think about that on that side, the only way that you have a lens or a frame or a way of deciding what part of that external awareness that you want to go deep into and engage with is through your internal awareness. It's actually on the other side, which is if you've into your own thoughts and feelings and your center, that you deeply, it comes from within you about the things that excite you, that motivate you, that you want to go deep into. And sometimes it comes from one place or another. But I think there is a definite linkage between the internal awareness of how you feel and how that drives what you engage with externally.
Yeah, just to pick up on that point about, so with the awareness then, there's so many components to it because you have your own ways of looking at things, your own stories that you've been told as you were growing up or ancestrally.
Yep.
There's all these different ways of looking at it. So understanding that from an internal awareness point of view allows you to make better decisions and understand things better. Well, why don't I want to?
Well, if we go to the super example.
Yeah, why don't I want to?
So boring, but like, I don't want to invest in
yeah,
super because my parents said it was a load of crap.
Yeah,
You know, or whatever.
I've got another one as well because we catch up for coffees on Saturday mornings with a bunch of guys, and one of the things that came up last week for me was talk about just relying on doctors.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I've gone along with that because I've had some mechanical issues with knees and sort of stuff, and I've been fixed really well, and I'm living a good life because of that. But talking with Andrew and a couple of the other guys, it started to dawn on me that my awareness around that needs to go to another level.
Yeah,
for my own choice.
Yeah.
Cool. So that really brought that up as well.
Way of putting it, and it's not that it's right or wrong. It's just that once you're expanded your awareness of that particular area, it may give you some other places to find the treatment that you need.
Or not, yeah,
but
you can make the choice then, making a really detailed decision around exactly what all the factors, as many of the factors that you can get your hands on. Yeah. So, but then that comes with.
So, how did you process that internally?
So I went back to what I've been learning about awareness in the different facets of awareness, looking at a whole bunch of things like the web of perception, how I'm perceiving things, the narrative lens that I'm actually putting on it, and looking to see if there's anything in there that are shadows that is causing me to look at it in a filtered way.
And what's a shadow?
So a shadow is just something that you're not doing well. So
and you think you are,
or you don't think about it at all.
Right.
Yeah, you can be.
So you're unconsciously.
You can be delusional.
Yeah,
that's the nth degree. Or you can just just not be the type of person that does. From you. So you got a healthy and an unhealthy way of being with stuff, and the shadow is the unhealthy way. And it gives you a place to look at, to improve, to change things. If you can find, if you work your way down to what it actually is and say, okay, well, I've just ignored this from a health point of view. I'm doing pretty well, but I've relied on the medical situation. If I look at other things as well, can I take that to another level? So it's all about some improvement that I want to make in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing I think about is that so I think those those tools are really useful. The narrative. So think about the story you're telling yourself about a particular area of your life. Think about the perception you have of it, and is that true? Is it your own authentic perception, or is it something that you've learned from someone else? And this is how your internal framing or your internal lens upon which you see that external awareness changes everything that you see.
Yeah.
So, for example, even something around, like we've talked about, what did you just talk about around the medical industry? We've got friends who are anti-vaxxers. We've got friends who are completely embrace it, and we've all got this sort of lens upon which we view the same external awareness or that same area, but it comes back to how open we are internally to that whole part of it, and how we engage with it in our own way. So I don't know if I'm being clear there, but I think that as we move into this phase 2 of exploring and creating the life that we want, it's interesting for me because just from today's conversation, what I've realized is that as I become more externally focused on creating what I need to, it will still be driven internally by what I enjoy and what I'm almost magnetically drawn to because of authentically who I am.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm pursuing someone else's dream or someone else's belief, I'm a little bit off track.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of not in the way, not in the authentic way that I want to live. So yeah, what's your takeaway from today?
So for me is it's hard work, but that's a choice I'm making. I'm working hard at this stuff and this transformation, if you want, this change of my life. I know that there's going to be times when it's overwhelming, and there's going to be times when I couldn't be bothered or don't want to do it because it's too hard. But the upside for me is that by being more intentional around the understanding of the things that I want to understand better, and looking at through those different lenses, making sure that I'm being really authentic about why I'm trying to strive to change something. That's the benefit for me, and that's what we talked about. For season 2 this is a big change for us. After season 1, where we tried to understand what was going on. Now we're trying to enhance our whole lives.
Perfect. We would love any comments or feedback from you guys about what you're enjoying about the podcast or what you particularly loved about this episode. And we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.
Take care.